Does Oregon have the softest schedule in the entire Big Ten next year? Because I think they might. Now, don't get me wrong, they don't even come remotely close to last year's softest schedule, which was Rutgers. They didn't play Michigan, they didn't play Ohio State, they didn't play Oregon, they didn't play Penn State, they didn't play Indiana. Somehow, someway, Greg Schiano and Rutgers still found their way to 6 losses with the schedule. You hate to see it. Again, Oregon's road is much tougher than that. I think the Big Ten did a little bit better job balancing everything this year, but I haven't seen a softer schedule than Oregon's yet. They open up with FCS Montana State, then they play Oklahoma State, who doesn't have the brightest expectations in the world. At Northwestern, you can probably go ahead and cross off as a win. Oregon State, I know it's a rivalry game, but likely a win for the Ducks. The toughest 2-game stretch here is definitely Penn State and Indiana, but luckily for you, Big Noon kickoff exists, so it probably won't be a whiteout against Penn State, and then you get Indiana at home. At Rutgers is another game you should be able to go ahead and cross off as a win, and then they play a stretch of like middling teams who could have breakout years, who could be really tough to deal with, or they could be bad with Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, USC, and Washington. And don't get me wrong, those could be formidable opponents there at the end of the year. They could be talented rosters that are just heating up and starting to play well. But I'm looking at some of these other schedules, and there's none that really avoid the top dogs the way that Oregon does, and there's none that should be favored in literally every single game outside of maybe one at Penn State. So could Oregon go undefeated? I would say yes, but it's largely just going to depend on how Dante Moore plays.